Excuse me while I scooch right on in here. When you search for what is self-care on any social media platform, you will typically see hygiene hauls, shower routines, and all of those things that are typically considered self-maintenance. But self-care is so much more than that. And today I want to explore the 9 pillars of self-care. Yes, I said 9. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Sonia Star J. This is Fully Loving Yourself, where I am sharing my journey with you all on holistic self-care and wellness practices. When I first started Fully Loving Yourself in 2016, I was a former athlete and dancer, and I really wanted to focus on physical and mental health. But as I got older, I started realizing that there were other aspects of our health and wellness and our self-care that we really were not paying attention to and thinking about. And so over the last few months, I've been looking into different things as I'm learning to heal my own body. And I'm like, wait, there are so many other things that we should focus on to get to our holistic self-care and well-being. So essentially, self-care is anything that you do that intentionally takes care of you, yourself, your complete self. Okay, but like I said, we usually only see self-maintenance. What body scrubs are you using? What makeup are you using? And it leaves out a lot of things that I think that people really need to think about and pay attention to. Quite honestly, as I've been navigating these 9 pillars of self-care, it has not been a beautiful process. It has not looked the best every single day, and that is something that I kind of want to debunk. You know, like, yeah, we are taking care of our self-care actively, and a part of that is taking care of our mental health. And as we get into the winter months now, as it's October, we really want to start being mindful of how we're showing up for ourselves completely. Testing, 1 2 1 2. I got tired of the echo in my living room, so I decided to come outside, and I got one of these now. I'm really excited. Yeah, let's get into these 9 pillars of self-care. So one of the reasons why I came to sit outside to start filming is because it is about to be the season of seasonal depression, and it's really important for us to be mindful of taking care of our mental health. And a big piece of that is getting more sunlight, getting vitamin D. And if you are not in a space where you can get a lot of outside time and a lot of sun, being mindful of eating things that are helpful to your mental health, things that are high in vitamin D and other vitamins like vitamin B. And if you aren't able to eat as much as you would like to, I know I'm not really the best at eating, making sure that you're taking your vitamins. Some things that you can do to make sure that you have a good mental health self-care is getting a therapist and making sure that you are doing things that are going to help you to keep a good mood, boost your mood, like working out or doing something that makes you happy and joyful. The mailman rode past, and I know he's like, what is that lady doing out here with that microphone? And I'm kind of going to just run through these. I don't want to get into too much detail. If you want me to break them down, let me know in the comments and we can definitely do that, okay? So the second form of self-care is going to be physical self-care. How do you take care of your outside appearance, right? Your mental health is taking care of your inside, your mind, that psychological piece of it. But your physical self-care is that self-maintenance. How do you show up in the world physically? I know that I recently got back into making sure that I had a good makeup care routine so that when I come out to the world, I don't look like how I feel sometimes, right? Even if it's a real quick beat, real quick 20 minutes, just having something simple that I can do with my hair and my makeup, making sure that I'm taking care of my skin by seeing an esthetician, going to the dermatologist, just being mindful and intentional about the ways that we are showing up in these particular ways. And so a lot of these self-care routines that we see are the physical self-care. What body scrubs are you using? What skincare products are you using? You know, those are physical self-care habits. Self-care habit to have, especially right now in today's economy, is a financial self-care self-care routine, okay? Making sure that you are staying in line with a budget. I know that that's not the easiest thing to do right now because rent is renting and these bills are billing, okay? But making sure that you're not living outside of your means and doing things that help you to have a healthy relationship with money. A lot of times we will not have excess, we won't have a lot, and we may have a poor experience with money. I know for myself, I grew up kind of in poverty, Section 8, food stamps, things like that. I was raised by a single teen mother, but she was a boss. She was on top of her stuff, but she had 5 children. And so growing up, I just knew I had to hustle, and I had to hustle to get money, you know? And so as an adult now, that creates an unhealthy mindset around how to make money, how to spend money, and how to keep money. Having a healthy mindset around money is not even just about budgeting, but it's also allowing yourself to spend too. Because when you're in a poverty mindset, and this is something that I learned about myself, when you are in the mindset of lacking, you're scared to spend. You're scared to invest in yourself. You're scared to invest in things that will get you to a better financial place and space. And so we just have to be mindful of the relationship that we have with money, looking into financial coaching, and just not being afraid of opening those bills, right? Like, we sometimes just let the bills be there because we're like, we don't want to open these. I don't want to see what it is that y'all are trying to get from me. Like, I don't. But it's not good to avoid financial things. So we want to make sure that we are having a healthy relationship with money. I think the next biggest piece of self-care is actually environmental. And so what environmental self-care is, that is making sure that you're in a healthy environment, healthy living environment, healthy working environment. If you're at a job that makes you absolutely completely miserable, that can take a toll on your mental and physical health, and that's just not good for your overall health and well-being if you're stressed out every day and you're not looking forward to your day. And I know that most of us don't have the luxury of getting up and going to a job that we actually like, but something along the lines of something that you would like to do, something that you can tolerate, something that doesn't make you absolutely completely miserable, because that's not a good way to spend the majority of your day and your life at a place that you completely hate. Like, that's just not good. And so I would encourage anybody in that type of situation to find something that's more aligned with something that you like to do. Even if you can't find fulfillment in your job, you can still find something that's aligned with who you like to be as a person. Like, maybe it's your team, maybe it's the type of work that you have. Like, find a way to make the most of your day tolerable and something that puts a smile on your face. Like, one thing that I like to ask my husband when he comes home every day is, what made you smile today? Like, I know that life can get stressful and work can be stressful and dealing with people is stressful, but think about one thing that made you smile at your job. And if you can't find one thing, you need to find a new job, honey. And then that brings me into the next form of self-care, which is recreational. Recreational self-care is doing something that brings your inner child to life, that makes you happy and experience joy and feel fulfilled. For me, I forgot that for a really long time. I forgot to be a kid again and to pour into myself in that way and do things that I love to do. I love to dance. I love being creative. I love drawing, art, and all those things. And honestly, YouTube gave me that opportunity of pouring back into myself in that way. Like, this is a passion project for me. I love showing up here and connecting with y'all and sharing my journey. Like, so YouTube is my creative outlet, but you need to find something that you can do every day that makes you smile. I like doing puzzles. I like coloring, I like painting, even if that's, creating funny little TikToks, if that's something that you like to do. Find something that brings your inner child to life. Dance around the house, cook. I know cooking can be a creative outlet for a lot of people, so do something like that. Find a way that you can pour into yourself every day that brings you joy and fulfillment, especially if it's not your job. And so the next form of self-care that I've probably kind of touched on already is emotional self-care, making sure that you have healthy emotional regulation. Okay, this is really, really important. Was the dog driving? That completely lost me. Making sure that you have healthy range of emotions. Okay, if you are somebody who deals with mental health disorders, this can be a challenge. And so making sure that you're going to therapy, and if you're, prescribed medication, that you're taking your medication, that you're journaling, learning how to have healthy emotional regulation, and so that you can communicate better and know how you're feeling, and having that self-awareness, that level of self-awareness to know that when you're not okay, having places that you can turn to help you get okay and become okay, because that's really a big part of being a healthy individual that I don't think we really talk about a lot. I know when I was younger, they used to always say, "Oh, you have an attitude problem." I ain't got no attitude problem. But now as an adult, I'm thinking back to it, like I just didn't have healthy emotional regulation. Therapy helped a whole lot. Okay, and so having a healthy emotional self-care routine can directly impact your social groups. And so having a healthy social self-care routine is also very important. And when I say social self-care, I mean having healthy friendships. This also ties into environmental. Who you surround yourself with, who you're in relationship with, who you connect yourself to, the places and people that you're around are very important. And that is what's going to help you to become your best self. When you are not able to pour into yourself, or you around people who can do that for you, or you around people who can love on you and love you back to life when you don't feel like doing it yourself, you have to really consider the people that you're around. If you're just around people who just want to turn up and party all the time, but you don't have nobody to turn to when you need a shoulder to cry on, when you need somebody to pull you back up when you're not feeling like your best self, then you might want to reevaluate those relationships. So making sure that you have a healthy social circle, getting into some different groups out. You have to be willing to step outside of your comfort zone to find new friends. I know when I moved to North Carolina, I was completely by myself. I didn't know nobody here. And God gave me people, He gave me community, but I had to be open to receiving those people, and I had to be open to pouring into those relationships the way that they were pouring into me as well. So you got to remember to not be a one-sided friend. You don't want to be involved in one-sided partnerships, whether they're being one-sided to you or you're being one-sided to them. We just want to be mindful of stuff like that. And so one thing that I have been kind of being more open about on this channel is like just my spirituality and kind of where I'm at with that. I'm still navigating it myself, but having a healthy spiritual practice is very, 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 very important for your overall self-care. Because years ago in 2018, I had a lady come up to me and she was like prophesying over me, and she was like, you take too much from yourself and you're empty because you're not drawing from source, and source is God, the Most High, whatever you call to and believe in. And she was right. A lot of times we lean on our own understanding and we don't call to God for guidance, clarity, and direction. And so that can leave us feeling lost. And so having a strong spiritual practice in your self-care routine can help you to feel powerful when you feel powerless. And it can help you to have patience and to give grace. It can help you to diminish your ego when you're being overly selfish and egotistical. That can really help, but you have to be intentional with it. By reading and praying and meditating, and also having a good prayer life and a good meditation life can help you to figure out the path that you're supposed to be on in this life. A lot of times we feel lost, like, what am I supposed to do? But when you pray and you ask God for direction and you ask God for clarity and you sit with yourself and you just allow, the things to come to you in clarity, you can figure those things out. But you have to be intentional with your self-care, and adding a spiritual self-care practice to your routine is going to help you to get there. And then the last form of self-care that I wanted to bring to you all's attention and talk about is one that is more important to me. I don't think that most people really talk about this form of self-care in this way, but it is a reproductive and your sexual health. And what I mean by that is taking care of your reproductive health. And the reason why I want to bring that to you all's attention is because it seems like there's a war on our wombs. It seems like something doesn't want us to be great with our reproductive health. And we need to be on top of these things. We have to be going to our checkups. We have to be mindful of who we are sharing our bodies with. That is very spiritual. It's very emotional. By doing all of the self-work and not allowing ourselves to be connected with people who we shouldn't be connected with. And also the emotional self-care too really impacts our reproductive health. As a licensed massage therapist, something that we learn is that energy gets trapped in our womb area. And when we are not creative enough, we also experience a lot of resentment and frustration and anger in that area as well. And so there are many women now who are getting hysterectomies because they're unable to have children, or they're having all these reproductive health issues because we are lacking self-care, the holistic self-care, because we are not limiting our stress. We are not watching our diets. We are not taking care of our mental, spiritual, and emotional health. All of these things tie in together. And ultimately, when you are experiencing reproductive health issues, the majority of the time it's because your holistic self-care practice and routine is not aligned. It's not in alignment because you're not taking care of these things. When you have a healthy spiritual practice and you bring God into the conversation and into the process of your healing, then you can see healing. When you are adamant about your nutrition and your physical health, then you will see healing. When you are adamant about taking care of your physical health, working out, making sure that you're looking good and feeling good, then you will experience healing. But we have to be mindful of all of these different types of self-care. We got to be going to our doctor's appointments, but also advocating for ourselves as well in these rooms. We have to be self-advocates. We got to put ourselves first in these type of experiences. And so on this journey for myself, in my personal healing journey, I have been learning that the reason why these type of things develop in our wombs is because we're not taking care of ourselves. We are under high amounts of stress. We are eating toxic foods. We are dealing with toxic people. And we are just filled with unhealthy habits and toxins that we need to release. But when we become intentional with our self-care practices and routines, then life just gets a little bit better. And hopefully a lot of it better. So those are the 9 pillars of self-care that I wanted to share with you all today. I want to know, how are you practicing self-care? And what is one form of self-care that you want to practice before the year is over. And how are you going to do that? Okay, I know right now we're getting a lot of content about, 2024 already, or the next year already. And even myself, I've done a video like that already. But I wanted to stop and think, like, how are we taking care of ourselves now, today, to prepare for that next step? And to just be grateful for the time and the moments that we have to be able to sit and be and just take care of ourselves and think about our past and how those past experiences shaped our now and how we can learn from them to become a better us. And as someone who wasn't really taught how to self-care, it has been a very beautiful and interesting journey of breaking myself apart and putting myself back together to learn these things intentionally. And so I'm grateful for everybody who has decided to take this journey with me. I love you all so much for pouring into me, for all of the encouragement. And I just pray that I'm able to give even a little bit back to you. So I love y'all. If you are not yet subscribed to the channel, please be sure to subscribe before you head out, okay? Because we are going to be getting more into the self-care and the healing and rediscovery stuff and tips. All right, I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye.